What is up, boys? Brady back with another video. Today we're going to be going over the best Ice Gauntlets in the game for PvP. Outpost Rush, War, and Open World PvP. Before we get into it, I do want to mention that crafting high gear score Arcana weapons, including Ice Gauntlets and Fire Staffs, is currently just not possible. Apparently there is a bug that makes it so quintessences are not increasing the maximum possible gear score for these weapons as they're supposed to. I haven't fully tested it myself, but I trust the people that gave me this information. So if this is the case, we are currently capped at 585 gear score crafted Arcana weapons until this is fixed. But without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got Winter Wish. This is your classic high damage glass cannon ice gauntlet that is good for pretty much anything in New World. Winter Wish comes with Keen, Vicious, and Chain Ice. Keen increases your critical strike chance by 11%. Vicious increases your critical strike damage by 11%. And then Chain Ice is just the basic attack hits trigger a ice chain that bounces between close targets on a 2-second cooldown. Vicious and Keen are fantastic perks. However, a weapon with Keen and Vicious stacked on top of each other is pretty insane damage. And it also comes with Cruel, the Malachite, which in my opinion is the best gem for the Ice Gauntlet. Vicious and Keen are two perks that are fantastic for pretty much any weapon, but especially the Ice Gauntlet due to it having a high crit chance through Critical Frost and Energized Critical. With these two perks and Keen on this weapon, your critical strike chance is up to 46% combined when the enemy is in either Ice Storm or Ice Shower. This weapon is dropped off of Illuvia Marl the Caretaker, which is the first boss of the level 60 Expedition Garden of Genesis. Next up, we got Diarmud's Icy Grasp. Again, this is another glass cannon type gauntlet. However, not as good as Winter Wish, just because you can get Unending Thaw and a piece of armor instead of a weapon, where you could instead get something like Keen. And again, there is another bug that I should mention with Unending Thaw. It is currently bugged, making Ice Storm only tick once and then completely stop its damage when you do have the perk equipped. This is something that I tested multiple times in duels, and it did come out to be true, so until this is fixed, Unending Thaw is a really good perk that just cannot be taken right now. Having Enchanted with Keenly Empowered is pretty absurd damage output. Whenever you crit, which is pretty often on the Ice Gauntlet because of your passives, you gain 15% in power, which is basically just 15% more damage for 5 seconds on a 10-second cooldown. So if you crit, all the damage you're doing after that for 5 seconds is boosted by 15%, plus Enchanted, which increases your light and heavy attacks damage by 9.5%, close to 10%. So just those two passives alone, even just not even looking at Unending Thaw at all, just the raw output of damage of this Ice Gauntlet is pretty insane because of those two perks. This weapon is dropped from the War Spoils crate that you get for competing in a 50v50 war. This weapon can be compared with the Crystalline Curse. These are pretty close to each other, with the only difference being the third perk. Keenly Empowered on Diarmud's Icy Grasp compared to Refreshing Move on Crystalline Curse. These are both really strong passives, but I think I would take Keenly Empowered over Refreshing Move more often than not. But Crystalline Curse is still a fantastic weapon. It is a crafted weapon through the Arcana crafting skill. Last up, we have Jarngreipr. This may sound odd, but I think this might be just the best 600 gear score Ice Gauntlet in the game right now. That is because of the one passive that you see on your screen, Deadly Frost. This passive, at least to my knowledge, is not currently on a charm that can be placed in either gear and or weapons while crafting. So the only way to actually get this Deadly Frost passive is to farm this Ice Gauntlet. The damage that this perk causes is hard to guess because of how indescriptive the perk is. But I do remember having this perk at some point while leveling. I think it was a Ice Gauntlet that I received in the Depths dungeon. And I do remember it doing decent damage. So we can only guess what kind of damage it can do at max level. But I'm assuming it's a decent amount. Now the only problem with this weapon, Jarngreipr, is that it has luck on it, which luck is good to have, but not on a weapon that you want to be using at endgame, right? Like if you have a really good weapon, you don't really want luck on it because you would rather have a perk that benefits that weapon in some way, not giving you, 2.8% chance at finding rare items from chests and monsters in the open world. That's not really doing much for your endgame, right? But Deadly Frost is such a good passive for the Ice Gauntlet. And it's so hard to find that it kind of makes this Ice Gauntlet pretty amazing. And then refreshing move isn't that bad either. Light and heavy attacks reduce your active weapon cooldowns by 2.8%. This Ice Gauntlet is dropped by Ivan the Inevitable, who can be found in Northern Ebonskill Reach in a cathedral. Alright, and that is the end of the video for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.